Good morning, everybody. It's a very special day today. You're probably wondering why I'm wearing my M1 helmet that I got the other day. Well, let me tell you this. Everyone, on this day, 75 years ago, the greatest amphibious invasion the world had ever known took place. That invasion was codenamed Operation Overlord. That was the June 6th, 1944 D-Day invasion, the invasion of Normandy and mainland Europe, in Normandy, France. And today, because it is the 75th anniversary, I have got a special treat for you. I'm going to show you a lot of the items in my collection that would have been used during the D-Day invasion. Now let me just remind you before we continue, make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to share it so we can get it up to 1,000 likes. Also, before we continue, these are things that I have in my collection, so you will not see all of the things that are in the collection. And at the end, you will see a very special poster that I did in dedication to this day. So, without further ado, let's go. And here's the collection, folks. All these models, objects, and actual 3D prints as well. All of these you see before you are my collection, and we're going to look through every single one briefly, but interestingly. Let's check this out, shall we? A Jeep oil can, a deactivated pineapple grenade, what was known as a signal cricket. Worked as signaling. 1 click was to be answered by 2 clicks. You don't get that answering click. Hit the dirt. Open fire. I repeat, 1 click is to be answered by 2 clicks. Now hang on to this gimmick. It's as important as your weapon. Do you read me? A 30-06 bullet, commonly used in the M1 Garand rifle and the Springfield Model 1903 bolt-action sniper rifle. Can punch through a petrified tree and kill the man behind it. A chromed-over 37mm anti-tank gun shell. No idea what gun this is from. If anybody recognizes it, please tell me in the comments. Thank you. Eine deutsche Blockhaus with eine 88mm Flugzeugabwehrkanone und ein Flachwehrling 20mm Flugzeugabwehrkanone. Eine 88mm Flugzeugabwehrkanone. Eine 75mm Panzerabwehrkanone. Eine Sonderkraftfahrzeuge SDKFZ-7 Heavy Half-Track. Eine Panzerkampfwagen-Ausführung L. Eine Panzerkampfwagen-Ausführung 8 auf die 21 Panzerdivisionen. Eine Sturmgeschütz-Ausführung G auf die 21 Panzerdivisionen. Eine 105mm Lechfeldhaubitze 18 SF auf Geschützwagen 39 8F Light Self-Propelled Gun. Eine Schwimmwahn-Amphibienfahrzeuge. Un char de cavalerie Hotchkiss H-39. A Universal Carrier or Bren Gun Carrier. A Willys Jeep. An M8 Greyhound 6-wheeled armored car. A T-19 HMC or Howitzer motor carriage. A DUKW or Duck Amphibious Supply Truck. A Howitzer motor carriage or HMC M7 or M7 Priest. An M4A375 Sherman medium tank. An M4A176W Sherman medium tank with a 76mm M1A1 gun. An M4A276W Sherman also with an M1A1 76mm gun. A Churchill Mark III British infantry or heavy tank. P-51C Mustang named Old Crow with bazooka pods under wings. P-51D Mustang Jumpin' Jacques, modeled particularly for dogfighting. Republic P-47 Thunderbolt heavy fighter and ground attack aircraft. Lockheed P-38 Lightning twin-boom, twin-engine fighter aircraft. Curtiss C-47 SKYTRAIN troop transport aircraft. Handley Page Halifax B Mark III bomber. B-17G Flying Fortress heavy bomber. Fletcher-class destroyer. Cleveland-class light cruiser. British Queen Elizabeth-class battleship HMS Warspite, also known as the Grand Old Lady. A landing ship tank, or LST, Particular model is model of LST-376, sunk in the English Channel after D-Day. And of course, the standard American M1 helmet. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to show you the grand finale of this video for the 75th anniversary of D-Day. Let's check this poster out. And so, ladies and gentlemen, here is the grand finale. What you see before you is the D-Day at 75 poster, June 6, 1944 to June 6, 2019. If you're probably guessing, yes, I hand drew this poster all by myself, using nothing but photographs and taking my time. When wanting to do artistry, it takes time, and I will show you each of the following elements that makes it up. We start by looking at the center, showing the map of Normandy and the 5 beaches that they had to attack: Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. Attacked also was in between Omaha and Utah was La Pointe du Hoc. And as it says at the top, the longest 24 hours in modern history. I'm sure a lot of us can agree about this because, well, it was probably the biggest turning point in World War II. Guaranteed. At the bottom in the center, we see the belligerents. On the enemy side, we see that is Nazi Germany. And on the top, we see 8 flags. We see those of the United States, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Canada, the Commonwealth of Australia, the Czechoslovak government in exile, the Provisional Government of the Republic of France, the Norwegian government in exile, and the Polish armed forces in the West. There were many others, but these were the most major players in this invasion. Looking at the top, we see a hand-drawn representation of a P-51 Mustang with the black and white, what were known as the D-Day stripes. As you can see, as you probably guessed, I modeled it off of my old Crow model. Well, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Looking at the top right, we see 2 pictures. The first picture is of a Curtiss C-47 SKYTRAIN, but not just any C-47 SKYTRAIN. People of my home of Western New York, you can probably figure out who's been to the air shows. That is indeed, in fact, Whiskey 7, which was, in fact, the lead plane of the second wave of the 82nd Airborne's assault on the French town of Sainte-Mère-Église. And underneath that was the event that took place during D-Day at Sainte-Mère-Église, what was known as the Battle of the Lafayette Causeway. During this attack, as you are seeing, 3 captured German tanks, which were actually captured French tanks, came down the road and ran into fire from bazookas, infantrymen, and anti-tank guns. That attack subsequently failed. As we look at the bottom right, we see one of the large 152mm coastal guns set up between the American beach of Omaha and the British beach of Gold. This battery of 4 152mm guns fired constantly throughout the day. This one in particular is battery number 3. Looking at the bottom left, we see one of the most famous battleships that would fire on Normandy. The old American dreadnought battleship USS Texas, now on display in, you guessed it, the state of Texas. As we look on the left in the center, we see a picture that depicts the rare counterattack that was made by the German 21st Panzer Division. Unfortunately, when it counterattacked against Sword Beach, it ran into an ambush and assault by Sherman Firefly tanks and British 17-pounder anti-tank guns. Basically, before the battle was over, it had lost more than 20 of its irreplaceable panzers in this one engagement. Can you believe it? And for the final part of the poster, I read an excerpt from General Dwight D. Eisenhower. And it reads, and I quote, "Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazi triumphs of 1940 to 41. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats in open battle, man to man. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking. Dwight D. Eisenhower. And thus, ladies and gentlemen, this brings an end to our video for the 75th anniversary of the D-Day invasion of Normandy, France. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. If you liked the video, make sure to leave that like, and if you haven't seen this channel before, make sure to subscribe, and make sure you share it with everybody you can, because guess what? History matters. So, I sign off for today, and I will see you guys in the next one. A Tank Commander out.